live from Quarantine Studios. It's your host of Culture Conversation, Twin GQ, aka Quarantine Man. About to tap into our first guest of the show, my man, the one and only Chuck. Hey, what's up? What's up, Chuck? How you doing, Charles? You all right?
I'm good. I'm good, brother. I'm good. Yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, so before we go into in depth a little bit about the stuff that we do here, I just wanted you to give yourself a little introduction for those of the people that are watching that don't really know who you are, a little bit of what you do, and what's happened to your story after that introduction.
Sure. Yeah. You know, just a local Southern California hooper, really.
Okay.
Grew up in Whittier, California. This is a little suburb in LA County. Not really a basketball hotbed, but just kind of made it what it is for me, man. I love the place and I love where I grew up. I'm so thankful to, have a family. I'm the youngest of six, so I'm big age gap in between too. My oldest brother, who was pretty athletic, he was in between me, so he was 8 years ahead of me. So there there was a lot of getting my ass kicked and things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's dope, man. That's dope. It's
yeah,
very good to see, and I guess obviously for me, I actually met you a couple years back at the OVO basketball tournament, and you were around guys like Stanley Johnson and Frank, as well as
yeah,
BJ, and being a good friend as well as a coach and trainer there, and just kind of tell me a little bit about the story of how you got into training as well as creating the ISO brand slash training company.
yeah. So yeah, getting in front of guys like that, it was kind of interesting. I was always hooping. I used to work out with Gabe Pruitt and a couple other guys out of LA. Gabe went to play at USC. He was drafted by the Celtics.
Nice.
I want to say probably around '06. Couldn't really tell you, but that was probably where I was hitting my peak with my skill set personally. The year before that, I worked at Kobe Skills Academy, and they had like the top wings in the country come out there. So I was just rebounding, rebounding, helping out. Best trainer, he pretty much started in the industry at the time, Gannon Baker. I was helping with him. I was helping him out a lot, doing camps. But, just being in that environment with the top 40 kids, I think Derrick Rose was there, Steph Curry. Man, who else was there? I didn't even know Steph Curry was there until like a year ago. Someone posted a video. Um, yeah. Tyreek Evans,
Nice.
DeMar DeRozan.
Uh,
Yeah, it was wild. And just seeing how and Kobe was pretty involved too. So seeing how he worked on his game and how Gannon taught and broke down different things really helped me elevate my game. And in doing so, I would be around guys like Gabe Pruitt, and I didn't really like giving out information that I had because I wanted, at the time you didn't share stuff on YouTube or anything.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I just tried to keep it all for myself because I was, 5'8" Mexican kid trying to be the best. So um, then everything changed. A friend of mine, actually my best friend, Bryce Jones, he was the coaching at La Mirada, my alma mater. And he said, hey, come back, come check out this kid we got on JV. He's an incoming freshman. So I come back and I watch a game and the kid looked really good. Like he had big hands, big feet, but it was only like 6'2" and kind of slow and sluggish. And that ended up being Derrick Williams. So me and Derrick hit it off right away. He didn't have any male figures in his family. It's pretty much just me, his mom, and his sister. And his mom was awesome. She just, hey, you want to pick him up? Come work out, go play. So I would take him to LA, Compton, USC, UCLA. We'd go play. We played on a Wednesday night league that was really good. And Bob Myers was on our team, the GM of the Warriors.
Crazy.
At the time he was representing guys like oh Oh man, what's his name? I just saw a video on him last night. I can't remember his name. Dude for the Blazers. That was really good. I keep wanting to say Will Conroy, but it's Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy.
Oh,
So
okay.
Bob was Brandon's agent, and Derrick was we played on that team forever. I still play on the team, when I can play.
Nice.
Bob obviously had moved on to the Warriors, but Bob pretty much got Derrick his first look at college through UCLA because Bob played there. So that opened up doors for him, opened up doors for me. I would take Derrick to AU practices, open gyms,
Nice.
workouts. He would invite his friends, whether, guys from all over. Casper Ware, James Harden would come. It was crazy. All these guys were literally, I'd say, around 15 to 20 minutes away from where we were working out, maybe a little further. But, DeMar was in Compton,
Okay.
which wasn't far from La Mirada. The Ware twins both went to North Carolina and UCLA. They were at Mater Dei. Casper Ware was down the street. Jordan Hamilton was down the street in Compton.
Wow.
So we were just hungry, man. I mean, I was hungry to play and compete and train these guys, and everyone started calling me coach. And then Derrick's career took off. He ended up being the number 2 pick behind Kyrie Irving. And I've been blessed to just be in a situation to work with guys and just help them along their paths if they wanted help in any situation. I mean, I've kind of seen it all. I'm 36 now. I started doing this when I was about 19, so it's been a wild
That's
road.
crazy. Yeah, and it's crazy to see, man, like how you kind of came in as more of like the OG. You kind of just was providing mentorship and guidance for a lot of people that may needed it at the time. And I come from a place where growing up we didn't have the right or the OG that was going to tell you the right things. So
For sure.
you had to kind of figure it out on your own. You know what I mean? And, and growing up in a specific area in Toronto and being from the Scarborough area, there was a lot of like negativity around you, and it's like the people that come out of those environments that do give back to their communities and be like, yo, this is what you should focus on. And, people that invest in your dreams and are going to literally take you through the process, man. Those are people that, we got to give all the power and, the credit to. And not to say you do it for that matter, but I think that you play just as much of an instrumental role as, the coach that he goes to school with and, playing, in the NBA, because you're the behind the scenes guy, it's like, you're like the net that holds everything together. You know what I mean? So it's dope to see how you've been able to do that, not only for Derrick, but like other guys, you know what I mean, that you'll definitely share. So, it's dope, man. It's good to see, you know what I mean? Especially when you're a guy that kind of been around the whole culture of sports and through the evolution of, LA sports as well. And, just kind of tell a little bit about the history about LA sports and I guess being in an environment where you have so much hot spots like South LA and the Crenshaw area, and then you have Orange County, and then you know what I mean, and then the different like natives and stuff. So just kind of go into detail with that a little bit and kind of have some stories there.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff, especially if you're not from here. And I was actually just tripping out right now, Twin, because earlier, when you posted our pick, I was like, dang, I forgot Twin was here for the draft day.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
bro.
Yeah, it was like just so random. Like, hey, you want to help rebound? Like, come through. Just whatever. So, and then also, organically meeting you at OVO Bounce, like that was super funny too, because I didn't know a single person from Toronto, like not one person.
That's crazy, bro.
Was
that your first time coming?
First time ever there. First time ever there, and I still talk to everyone. Oh, well, most of the people I connected with, like, so it's really, I mean, Toronto, man, special place. I can get into the LA right now, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Toronto because that's easily that was my favorite trip of all time, and it really wasn't just because, we were hanging with Drake and doing all the cool shit you can do in Toronto, but just the people and the relationships that I met, which is kind of the foundation of what I've loved to call my dream,
Yeah, for sure. And It's crazy you say that because I kind of think back to that whole like week, man, and it just being a mega spot of like entertainment, and like you had the tournament, and then in the
Hmm.
on the like the weekends you had like the part. It was, yeah, it was a crazy time, man, and
It's
it's
crazy.
good that you got to experience that, bro, because I feel like you're a part of that whole grind. In the morning, I remember going and getting like treatment and you're like working out stand, and then
Yeah.
you had like friends. You know what I mean? So just little things that people don't see, man. The behind the scenes moment of what really goes into manifesting your dreams and helping people, and it's like you attract what you are. And I feel like for you being like a genuine person with a good heart, bro, like everybody is gonna attract you because of the energy that you project into the world. And I just think that the great people that you've been able to meet is, a return or a byproduct of the energy that you projected and the person that you are. So like I said, man, Toronto's always a place for you, bro, and it's always open, man. Mi casa su casa, like they say.
Appreciate that, man. Same here. Um, yeah, and to touch on LA, LA's unique because I was kind of like I said, the place that I grew up. I don't want to say pigeonholed. That kind of sounds weird or bad,
Yeah.
I guess. But you know, my parents were going through a divorce, separation, financial situation wasn't the best. I was moving a lot around the area, um, and I was, I all I knew was Whittier basketball, which was nothing really. I mean, there's some great guys I grew up playing with and against, but nobody ever got to the magnitude of some of the guys I work with now. And it's kind of sad for me because I feel like I wanted to be one of those guys. That was my goal, but
Yeah.
touching these other guys and getting them to their spots has it's been a blessing. Like I can't even. But yeah. Long story short, I went to play junior college ball at Compton, and from there I met all kinds of different people from South Central, Watts, Long Beach, and even before that, before I went to Compton College, I was working out a lot at Long Beach City, and so I kind of got the whole thing. Like every gym, I knew every gym in Long Beach. I knew every gym in Compton. Um, and then a friend of mine, Leon Jacobs, played at Utah State or Utah Valley State. Super close friend of mine. He's more from the South Central area by USC.
Okay.
So as a kid, like he would leave his house and they'd play hide and go seek on campus at USC. You know what I mean? That's how close he was.
Absolutely.
So before they had their practice facility, they had an on campus facility that was the ROTC gym, and it was just always open. Had about, I don't know, man, maybe 8 to 10 courts, probably a few full courts, and we'd be in there all night. And most of the time, it would be like Gabe Pruitt, Nick Young would come every so often, Bobby Brown, Marcus Williams played at UConn. Uh, but I mean, the toughest guards that I could even, play against, and we played all the time. And I credit a lot just to, honestly, just to Gabe Pruitt. He's seriously, till this day, the best one-on-one three dribble player I've ever played against. He was unbelievable. And
Wow.
from there, my game really evolved. And like I said, I was doing the Kobe camps.
Yeah.
Um, then I got asked to come to. Actually, I didn't even get asked. I took a friend to his practice for the Drew League, and this is
Oh, wow.
2004, 2005. So I took a friend to his Drew League practice, and he asked his coach. He's like, "Hey, this is his name's Love or Pops," and and
Shout out to
you know,
Pops, man. That was my
yeah,
coach in
shout out.
Drew too.
Oh, Pops is your coach? Okay, yeah. So, yeah,
Yeah. I
Panthers,
played for the
Jaguars,
Panthers,
whatever
bro.
team. There you go. Panthers was my first
Yeah, I
team.
played for the Panthers.
That's right.
Uh,
So Pops, he was like, yeah, like, and no lie, I probably weighed 125, 130 pounds. So Pops had me out there, and I was just cooking. I was going off, man. It was the first time I used the NBA ball too. So I had to be extra careful with my layups. I couldn't reach past 20. Luckily,
yeah.
it was a high school line that we practiced at. But man, I just kept coming back every Wednesday, and slowly but surely, guys kept knocking off. And it was something really, really crazy that my brother told me. Um, And he was a really good football player, but just a really good, talented athlete. But he just told me, he's like, hey, man, he's like, don't worry about your size, your appearance. He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, just stay the course. He's like, I'm telling you, things are going to happen to these guys that you're playing against, that you're trying out with. He's like, they're going to be late. He's like, like their car's going to break down. They're going to have excuses. Like, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Oh, okay. I think my earpiece died. So yeah, he just kept telling me to stay at it, and main thing was just to be the turtle in the race, because my appearance wasn't there. So yeah, I just stayed with it and met a lot of people. And at that time, the Drew was played at the middle school, so it was like a middle school gym. It was very short. My first game was against Bad Santa, Kenny Bruner. It was crazy. Like, this dude was, NBA type player. He just torching me. Gilbert Arenas, Barron. Like, it was like that was the first 5 weeks, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was me and Curtis Millage from Arizona State. We were the backcourt.
Okay.
Then from there, they had another league that was a college summer league called the Sano. So Pops got me on that team too. And then, that was really tougher because there's a lot of politics involved in that league. But whatever, I just kept showing up. Wasn't mad, got the playing time I got, whatever. But just the connections and meeting all these people throughout these tournaments and these games, it was unbelievable. There were so many gyms, bro, and like, I felt like I really had access to all of them, or I could play at any time. And so it was crazy, and I was playing so much, Twin, like, and going to gyms. At this time, I think my dad sent my brother to come watch me play for one Sunday. This is one Sunday. So I had a game in the Drew League in the morning, like 10 a.m. Played that. I had another game in Hollywood in the JBL, which was another pro-am.
JBL's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, JBL. It was really tough back then. Honestly, I thought it was better than Drew back then. So played in the JBL, and I'm going from being a distributor on one team to kind of like a up-tempo point guard on the other, to playing with slower guys that I got to get involved. Like, I mean, I had to really figure out how to play in these games, and this is like within an hour and a half drive of each other. So it was kind of crazy to get in mental frame to focus on what kind of player I had to be. Then from there, I went to Whittier back home, and I would play on my men's team, which was really good. It was a big Latino team, probably one of the best ever assembled. And we would play one or two games there, and then I would get picked up to play other games. So on this Sunday, when my brother came, I think I played 6 games with referees in 2 pro-ams, and then I went to get up shots after at 24 Hour Fitness. And my dad, and I think like a lot of my family members, they wouldn't believe it. Oh, Charlie's at the gym all the time. Like, he's not at the gym. Like, he's up to no good, whatever.
Yeah.
And it got to the point, like, I think that the joke was like, oh, yeah, Charlie's selling drugs, or he's doing something like that. So that's kind of the reason why my brother was hanging with me that day, just to see what I was really up to.
Yeah, what you was really on.
Yeah, and like, we got back at like 10:30 to my dad's house, and my brother's telling my dad, he's like, we've been in the gym all day. All day. And nothing's changed. I mean, the only thing that's changed is I'm making passes instead of shooting. That's literally it. And I'm just so blessed to be here, man.
Yeah, it's so crazy because talking about the history of the Drew League, and with my experience of how I first played in the Drew League in 2017, I actually connected with Pops as well, and we had a mutual friend out here in Toronto, and same thing. I had to pull up to Watts. I remember driving up to Watts. I'm in the hood, like 30 people outside. I'm like, damn, this is this is different. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
And
different, man.
I was on the same kind of path and grind as you, where I wanted to play the most games that I could play in one summer, and
Hmm.
that's why I would go to LA for a month and a half, and then
Yeah.
I would go to New York City, and then I would finish off in Toronto. So I actually, kid you not, I actually my first year in the draft, I played for the Jaguars, and in that practice, like I was picking up people 94 feet,
Yep.
bro, like locked. Like I was in my zone, but Pops was an incredible, figure for giving me the opportunity to play my first year in the Drew League, and I played against I think the first week we played BB4L, and I played against Handle Life, Dribble Too Much.
Yeah.
And I used to watch this guy's videos on Instagram, you know what I mean? And then to
Yeah.
see that I played against him my first game in the Drew League, and I actually played ISO because I played a back-to-back Friday, Saturday on opening
Okay.
weekend. So it
Yeah.
was crazy, you know what I mean? For me to used to watch these videos on YouTube, and then I'm playing in the
Yeah.
Drew, and Pops really did push the envelope for me, and tried to get me involved with different coaches and runs and stuff. And back then, that was the era of the UCLA runs and stuff, but I couldn't
For
get in
sure.
at the time. But
Yeah.
just being around LA and just knowing how gross the market of sports was, and how everybody loved the game, man. And it's just, it kept me in shape, but it challenged me because it
Yeah.
was never something I had seen back home. You know what I mean? The OVO tournament is immaculate, great, it's
Hmm.
ran good, but it's only a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the other 16 or 18 weeks in the summer, I want to play, I want to stay in shape. So going out to LA where I was playing, I was working out every day, and I was playing, twice, 3 times a week. I can kind of, attribute or attest it to the same journeys that you've been on, So it's
100%.
crazy, man. But it's good to see that, it's small world, bro. Who would have thought that you played for Pops? You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you had
man.
good experiences, man. And that's crazy. The grind really is different. And when you want to be an expert at something, and you want to go down a different path, you got to put in the time, and the fact that you're able to commit to something at a, an early age is it's immaculate. But to do it now from a different perspective or a different field is great, man, and it's good to see. And I actually got to, catch a couple of the sessions that you did. I remember coming up after BDA, you were training Thon and those guys at that gym in Santa Barbara.
Oh, yeah. You were in Santa Barbara. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then you being at P3 with those guys as well, like Jason Richardson and stuff. So it's dope,
Yeah.
man. It's dope.
Josh. Yeah. Josh. Yeah.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, sorry, Josh. But yeah, man, it's just kind of dope to see, man, and to kind of hear your story, hooping wise, because you play professional too, right?
Yeah. I played in Mexico one season. Yeah.
Dope, man. That's dope, bro. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So
Yeah.
you
That
the
was
OG,
that was.
you the OG then, for real.
Yeah. I guess now. Yeah. It's kind of crazy to hear, but
Yeah,
because
bro.
yeah. But I mean, Mexico was great, man. Easily, I couldn't tell you a better time. Man, honestly, looking back, I loved it all. I
Yeah.
I mean, the whole, the grind of being a junior college player, the grind of, trying to make it, the grind of, trying to play professionally. It was all good. I loved it all. I loved it all. Being in Mexico, being in 28 different cities was unbelievable. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm just so blessed, man. I'm so thankful.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
crazy, man. To be able to make it out of LA too, just knowing what goes on, and a lot of people don't know the underground world of living in like I said, poverty, or living in an area stricken by crime and stuff like that. And I can relate because I kind of, I'm not gonna say I live in the hood, but I've been around
for
environments
sure.
where I had to live in New York City in the projects for 4 months, and kind of going through that daily grind of not being on a specific area in the nighttime and going through different routes. So I think it kind of trains your mind to start looking different and having that sense of street smarts, which is kind of huge. So
100%. And that's the thing I really try to, talk to guys I work with a lot. Mr. Spread Love, how you doing?
shout out to
Yeah.
Jason, man. Shout out to Spread Love one time.
Oh man, I should have put the shirt on, but it's too hot. I got
Right?
the black one. So yeah, I mean the decisions they're so easy to make. Like it's so easy to make a wrong decision because you're in a situation where they're popping up every day. Like, dang, do I want to go left or do I want to go right?
Yep.
Do I want to? And one of those bad decisions could change your whole career, change your whole path, change your whole dream. And a, a lot of the guys I grew up with, especially the apartments I grew up in, um, I had to make those decisions daily, and they would call me square, or, whatever.
Right? Absolutely.
But it was cool, my a lot of times my mom wouldn't let me, go to the park or do things like that, and I would just be in front of the house dribbling the ball, making all the tenants crazy because I would just be popping, pop, 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 just
Yeah.
like 9 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean it's adversity. I think is the best teacher. I know I'm really good at what I do, but if you got some adversity, man, and you got someone like me in your corner, kind of helping you with some of these decisions, like I think sky's the limit. My
Absolutely.
brother's on here all mad right now because I'm wearing a Blazers hat.
Damn.
Whatever.
Yeah. So I guess we'll turn a page to the next discussion topic
Sure.
on, the arena of professional sports. With this
Mm-hmm.
matter to the respective organizations of the LA Lakers and the LA Dodgers. What are
Yep.
you more a fan of? And can you just tell me a little bit of like memories? I know you've been to a lot of LA Lakers games, but the Dodgers as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. A lot of. I mean, I grew up a baseball guy. Sorry, people keep calling me. I grew up playing baseball, football, and hockey. So I didn't really get into organized basketball until about seventh, eighth grade, and it wasn't even, nothing really. But so baseball, love the Dodgers, always have. Like I was a catcher, so I love Mike Scioscia. um, but yeah, Dodger baseball, man. I mean, it was a everyday thing. There's so many games. My grandpa moved here from Brooklyn the same time the Dodgers did so he moved to LA the same time the Dodgers did.
Uh,
And then Lakers, man, like my dad and his best friend, they would always go to Laker games. His best friend is pretty much, we call him my uncle, but he's like Laker diehard. He was a really good basketball player over here, so I would go to all kinds of games at the Inglewood Forum, and then Staples Center. I was there when I was either row 3 or row 5 when Ori hit that shot.
oh,
So
oh,
yeah, and I was right behind Peja Stojakovic because he was hurt. So him and his family were like sitting kind of like a row behind the bench,
okay.
and it was nuts, man, like crazy. It was a
So you got to
crazy,
see
crazy time.
the championship run, the dynasty era, Kobe era, pro.
Yeah,
I guess like pre. I guess after. I mean pre 24. Like it's crazy.
yeah, yeah.
And
It was nuts, man. And I wasn't even a big Kobe fan, honestly. I loved Eddie Jones, and until I worked Kobe's camp in 0405, that's when I kind of was like, whoa, this guy Kobe's on something different. The way he
yeah,
sees the game, the way he studies film. Um, just he just wanted to be educated about the process and the game and the grind, and I
yeah,
love that about him.
yeah. And it's crazy because I actually was talking to one of my friends because I've been watching a lot of like documentaries over
Mm-hmm.
this little bit of quarantine, and they did like a story on Bleacher Report with Sham God Sham God. And
Yeah, yeah,
so funny because there's like a story that nobody really knows about how when Kobe was going to the McDonald All-American game, he went to like a couple camps and Sham God worked with him on like a couple of his handles.
mm-hmm.
And for a guy like Kobe to be like the top prospect in America and going into the NBA draft, presence of mind to be like I'm not too big to kind of get help from people. That's what I took off of him working with Shamgar, man. Like just being a student of the game and respecting those who came before him.
Well, that's like looking back at those kinds of things, stories like that. Um, sorry, I'm outside, but
No, you good, bro.
yeah, like looking at or listening to stories like that are pretty special, and they're also like they're timeless just because of the era. You know, like at the time, like I said, I mean, there's no YouTube. You know, there wasn't too many trainers doing what I do. Um, so you had to seek information. And, you know, I just heard something about Tom Thibodeau uh, talking about when he was with the Sixers. I don't know if you saw that, but, you know, Kobe grew up in Philly, so he would go to their practice facility and just like try to play ones with everyone. You know, he was a maniac, and he was so aggressive in seeking this information. And I just told a kid I work with, I think this week, I told him, I said, you have to be a maniac for your shooting. Like that, you know, like you have to, I heard Gruden say that, and I thought it was just perfect. The Raiders coach.
Yeah.
He just said you have to be outright fanatic for your craft. And that's pretty much what guys like Kobe were doing. You know, they were seeking information. They were asking anybody. Like, and it was the same thing I was doing, except I was getting it from guys at the park. You know, some old head told me, "Hey, shoot this way." I tried it. You know, if it worked for me, I kept it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dribble moves, same thing. Attack moves out of triple threat.
Yeah.
You know, I was working with another trainer, Coach House, out here, and he was training all the girls that went to UConn and Tennessee from the West. And I would go. I was his guinea pig. Like, he'd be like, "Hey, you're gonna show them the drill. You're gonna be the demo guy." I'd be the demo guy, and then, you know, I'd help train the other girls or guys that he had. And at the time, he was working with like Paul Pierce and Sam Cassell. You know, so I was seeking it though. He was like, you know, you didn't have a cell phone, you got lost. I was trying to find the gym where he was at.
Yeah.
I was taking the train, the bus. I was trying to get to LA. I was probably wearing the wrong colors a lot of times, but you know, I didn't care, man.
Yeah.
I was at everywhere trying to soak up the information,
Yeah.
asking people where they were playing, where they were working out, what they were working out on. You know, I was fanatical.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that those are all great points. You know, I think that kind of paves the way to, you know, your success and your continued success because of the things or the habits that you've developed from a young age. But you know, I just think that too, the kids in these generations, they, you know, they see the undervalue of those kind of things that we talked about, of soaking up
For sure.
information. And you know, I think a lot of these kids, you know, specifically when a guy isn't at a specific level, you know, like if you played pro for 1 year and I played pro for 10 years, they rather take information for the guy that played pro for 10 years, which is a good way you could look at it, but you can learn from everybody. You know what I mean? And I always, my aunt and my grandma used to always tell me, like, you can learn from the homeless man on the corner.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
don't be too proud to accept, you know, information from people that you see beneath you. You know what I mean? You can learn from everybody. You know what I mean? And I've been able to have that presence of mind to ask questions. And, you know, when I see people doing certain things, and even if it's the OG that may be coming at you at a way where you seem it's ill intent, you know, you just take what he says, you know, with a grain of salt. You can learn from everybody. You know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of people, when you're growing up in the hood, don't do this. You should be doing this. Like, you know, you're looking at him or like, what? But don't look at it from how the tone of what the message is, but what the message represents. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that's going on right now, because, you know, everything's locked down. You know, kids are playing outside again. I mean, so much to where they had to take the rims off the courts.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I've never seen so many kids outside shooting on a blacktop or on their outside court of their house. I've never, bro. Only person you'd catch was probably me in my area. You know,
crazy.
and I built probably 5 basketball courts by myself because they broke, or I was dragging them to another friend's house so we could play 5-on-5 full court.
What?
And I would drag the court down the 2-3 blocks away so we can play 5s. You know, but the outdoor grind is my favorite, man.
Absolutely.
My favorite thing, man.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how dope the out grind was until I was like in the summers in New York City, and
Hmm.
all their leagues that they played in, with the exception of Pro City, was outside. Like Dykeman
Yeah.
was outside, like everything was outside. So it's going there and just seeing guys work out outside. You know what I mean? And just like they don't really work out in weight rooms. Like you know what I mean? They're outside doing the CrossFit grind and the
Yeah, they're
hills.
doing pull-ups on the street poles and all that.
Exactly. So that's like the raw thing before all this, the enhancement of, the science, the exercise science stuff that came
Hmm.
in. But yeah, man, I love the variety of, what the outside can provide, and with the hot sun, and especially in LA where you have the sun on you 24 hours a day, you can kind of utilize that to your advantage in the heat, to get in shape and stuff like that. So, and then all the gyms don't have AC too, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play in the sweatbox, man. I don't care. I like the gym hot, to be honest.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, we're gonna kind of turn a little bit now to, the whole talk about or the rise of AAU programs, and
Yeah,
obviously talking about the respective Oakland Soldiers, and how
yeah,
they were able to identify top talent within the city or within the state of California, and how now sponsorship deals get put in place, and like
hmm,
Nike or Adidas or things like that kind of get involved with like prominent AAU programs like the Soldiers.
yeah. Well, man, you know what? I didn't meet Marc Olivier, till probably 2014. No, had to be 2012, I think. Yeah, 2012. Stanley was playing with them, and Stan was pretty much telling Mark that, hey, you need to come see this guy. And at the time, I was working with another um, team in Northern California that had like DJ Wilson, Marquise Chris, Malik Pope. They had a really good squad, Braxton Huggins. And so it was really, really tough for me to kind of get involved with the Soldiers because I had a couple high school kids on my team that I was coaching up for this other team and they were always battling over players.
Okay.
But I mean, honestly, the love that I I was shown from all these AAU programs, I mean, I think it's you kind of figure out like who really messes with you and who doesn't. You know, if you don't help them get a player or something like that, and for the most part, a lot of them I'm still in connection with because they were just good people. I liked hanging out with them. I liked learning the business. I loved hearing Marc Olivier's story of how he got LeBron to play for the Soldiers. It was like a janitor that told Mark about this kid in Akron.
Wow.
And the janitor told this other guy that somehow was connected to Mark's auntie or something. And that's how it all came to fruition. He was playing like 16U. And now you have the LeBron rule. You can only bring in kids from governing state or from border states.
Oh wow. When
You
did they
can't
put
bring in.
that? When did they put that rule into place?
I couldn't really tell you. I want to say it was probably around like, I think UIBL did. So it was probably around
20,
2010, 2011.
yeah, 2011. Okay.
Yeah, I think EYBL started like
Yeah,
making
I think
things a little
2011.
bit.
Yeah, 2011. 2010, 2011 is
Yeah,
definitely the time.
yeah, and that was cool too because I was coaching. I was coaching Team Superstar up north in Fresno, which was like a 4.5 hour drive, and our team was just as talented as this Soldier team. Like it blew my mind. I'm like, how did you find kids from Fresno and Sacramento and they're more talented than the Oakland, San Francisco City, San Jose areas?
Yeah.
Same thing with the kids down here in Orange County. Like there was just so much talent, man. But these directors, they coached so many kids. They had so many people that were helping them get guys. Just like LeBron had his aunt in Akron I'm sorry, Mark had his aunt that somehow knew LeBron and got him over here.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's dope, man. That's dope. So
yeah, nuts.
yeah, yeah. So I was gonna say for the Oakland Soldiers, obviously, there's some or prominent guys that came out of that program that are in the NBA. Just can talk a little bit about that. Some guys,
Guys that were coming up.
yeah, guys that were coming up
Yeah,
through the Oakland Soldiers program that
yeah,
now in the NBA are great professionals. And talk
yeah. I
about
mean,
a little, yeah,
there's a lot of guys, man. I mean, I was really fascinated with Dominic Artis. Like, he played at Oregon for a little, and then UTEP, and now he plays overseas.
Tough.
Smaller
Oh, he went to
guard.
Philly too, right?
Yeah, he went to Finley. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, tough, tough, tough.
yeah. Da is special talent, man, and he's kind of the guy that got the Soldiers that Peach Jam with Stan and Aaron Gordon and Brandon Ashley.
Okay.
I think it was all that year. Maybe it was the year after. I'm not sure, but just from watching and seeing guys like that could just make high level length and athleticism just find their way was awesome. I also think that they all taught each other something real special. Aaron wasn't the most skilled, but he always had a high motor. He always ran the court. He always was tough, and he could jump. So once he got that was something I remember Stan being big on. He's like, man, like I got to figure out how Aaron's doing this because he's really not there yet. He's not that skilled. Like I feel like I'm more skilled and I shoot better and this and that. I'm like, well, go talk to him. So that was Aaron's a big reason what Stanley's expectations were, and you gotta have that person that you can kind of you don't necessarily have to talk to, but when you're in the middle of playing with somebody and you just see them elevate their game, like you're just like, dang, I gotta work, I gotta do that, I gotta get there.
Absolutely. It's good. It's good to
So I think
see
all
that.
these guys,
Yeah.
yeah, all these guys kind of elevated each other's success, to be honest.
Uh, that's dope, man. And it's so funny to see that a lot of these Oakland Soldier players ended up playing in the Pac-12, and it made it
Yeah,
competitive. You know what I mean? Because
it did.
I'm more of a my favorite conference in basketball to watch growing up was the Big East. Just
Of course,
because
mine too.
you know what I mean. Just because it was very
Yeah.
competitive, the coaches were very like passionate, and you've seen that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And now like the Pac-12, like the West Coast. You know what I mean? All the
Yeah.
people that played on the West, and the playing style is a little bit more up tempo, different.
Yeah.
So it's dope to see, and a lot of those Soldier guys ended up going to Arizona, which is like it's kind of dope, man, to see Sean Miller at the time produce so much high level talent and get them into the NBA and consistently as well, right? So
Yeah, and that was special too. I mean, like, when I met Coach Miller, had to be 2010, 2009, and I mean, look at me. I'm a 5'8" Mexican kid, and I'm hanging out with Derrick Williams. So I probably just look like a groupie, But Coach was always good to me. He was always nice. And then he saw me shooting around one day, and he started talking to me. He's like, "Oh, you've been working with Derrick," and I was like, "Yeah, for about 5 years now," and we just always hit it off, man. And like same thing with you, twin. Like I remember being at University of Toronto, finishing, working out with Stan, working out with Frank.
yeah.
And then, I'm hanging out. I didn't know what the hell I was doing that day, And you were shooting on the other court with your boy from New York. I forgot his name.
Sacha, yeah.
Sasha, yeah. And, I'm just like, hey, y'all want to work out? Y'all want to get shots? Whatever. Like Stan was telling me, he's like, just kid, like, yeah, he's a cool dude. Like, go, talk to him. And, I think when someone's genuine to me in a basketball environment where I'm kind of an outlier, I don't look like what I don't look like a basketball coach. I think that's that really hit me the right way.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely, and it's
that's where
always
I'm at.
great, man. It's good to vibe with people like that, and I think when people always do things, and I'm very big on doing things from a genuine space.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you come from an environment when you don't have a lot of things, your intention isn't to give for a right reason, and you feel like, okay, let me give because I know I'm going to get something back in return. But
Yeah,
where I was raised, it's like that's morally the thing that you have to do. Like you got to give back because it's what you got to do. It's being the bigger person, and just because you
100%.
don't just because you come from a situation that you don't have much doesn't mean you can't give back. Because you can give back through the littlest acts of kindness. Like, hey, what's up? Like that might make somebody's day. And it's it's bigger than we know. You know what I mean? And for myself personally, finding myself, you know, evolving from the space of being an athlete and going into business and getting involved in coaching and community initiatives and give backs for the youth is something in a million years I probably, you know, never thought was possible. I would have probably thought that I had to be in the NBA to have that platform, you know, but, you know, now knowing that the littlest things and people are always looking up to you and you don't even realize it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, you know, I can kind of relate to you on that level, man, because I see, you know, the things that you're invested in. And, you know, it's like looking at guys like you and still seeing you give back is what drives and motivates me. You know what I mean? And, you know, I don't really have a lot of opportunities to see you, but, you know, sometimes just seeing you on Instagram and seeing you do the behind the scenes work are things that motivate me to be like, damn, like, I got to continue to do what I'm doing because, you know, if an OG's still around and he's doing it when he doesn't need to be, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're working with NBA guys, so some people might be like, yo, why isn't he not just in the NBA realm? But your
Yeah.
purpose is bigger, you know what I mean? And that's another thing that, you know, I really respected about you is the fact that you had high profile guys in the NBA and you didn't just stand beside them. You know, you wanted to do more. You know, you wanted to diversify the things in the areas that you were involved in. And I think that's huge, man. I think that's, you know, things that a lot of people can kind of learn from, you know, because being in the NBA space and being in LA, you know how it gets, you know, where people are going to say like, hey, let's party tomorrow. And then
Yeah.
I'm on the phone for 2 weeks, you know, so it's
That was the
crazy.
funniest thing you said so far. When you when
Yeah,
you when
bro.
you said that, like, you know, a couple of days ago, I was thinking about that all week. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
yeah.
facts though, right?
Yeah.
You could be partying in Beverly Hills and like, oh, like this guy's dope. It's like, yeah, like let's connect, let's work, and like you
Yeah.
call him for 2 weeks straight, and you cannot get an answer, you know. And it's like that's the only city in the world that does that is that LA Hollywood scene, you know.
Yeah, that's not me, man. I'm not I mean, I just try to keep it low key if
Facts.
you know, but I love giving back, man. I mean that really hit me. That touched me what you said because um you know, I think that's even on my Instagram handle, you know, it says, you know, follow your dreams, not me. Like it started off as a joke and then it was like, well, what does that mean? And I was like, well, I want you to know what your path is. You know, you work on your path. Don't be afraid. You know, my path is going to be what I keep doing. And if this is what you want, you know, come kick it with me, see what I do,
Absolutely,
you
man.
know? And
Absolutely.
even you know, my parents get on me all the time trying to, you know, tell me, you know, hey, you need to monetize, you need to make money, you need to do this and that. And I'm like, why? I'm a millionaire. Like I get to work with kids. I get to work with people that are going on to, you know, change a culture, a basketball team, a program, um, you know, change a family, change families, um, you know, and it keeps me young. It keeps me happy, um, and it keeps me just going. You know.
Absolutely. And sometimes, you know, sometimes your dreams are bigger, man. Sometimes your dreams are bigger than yourselves, you know. And growing up, I always used to tell myself like it was always like the league, whatever. But
Hmm.
realistically speaking, I just wanted to make it out of my projects. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I can make it out of my projects. I'm good.
You're winning.
Everything
Yeah.
else is a plus, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I used to go to bed and I used to have bad dreams of like my project building like chasing me, like, you know. And
Jeez.
like every time I would get to the corner, I would get caught by my building. They'll bring me back down to the projects, you know. So for me, it was always bigger than, you know, I would use basketball for that reason. But, you know, like I said, man, it's sometimes your dreams are bigger than yourself, you know. So it takes you time to realize like what you're really doing this for and what your purpose is, you know. So hearing stuff like that, man, and like I said, you know, my life has been great thus far, and it's going to continue to do so because of the things that I want to be invested in, you know. And you know, like you said, like I've had an opportunity to do great things, and you know, money wise, I might not be a millionaire, you know,
Hmm.
but you know, I'm great. My bills are paid. I'm not struggling, and you know, my family and everybody else are doing good things in the world. So that makes me happy. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And doing things from a genuine space, like you said, you're just gonna look up and one day all the opportunities will fall in your hand. The monetary stuff will
Mhm.
come. You know, everything you've ever dreamed of and more will come. You know, and that's my focus. I'm very focused on purpose, and I know when you do things from a genuine space, things will always happen. You know, so it's dope, man. And like I said,
Being invested in people and relationships is pretty much what it is.
absolutely, absolutely. So we're gonna definitely turn to the final point of your message to the youth, and you know, to young, you know, business professionals as well as athletes who are, you know, looking to further careers in different paths and respective journeys. What is some things you would tell your younger self, or you know, a message that you can tell the youth that are, you know, projecting into a different area of their life?
I mean, I think it's pretty much what we just talked about. Um, I think investing in relationships and people is really huge, because the ball's going to stop bouncing one way or another. Um, so I think, you know, especially coaching high school, that's what I really enjoyed about it is, you know, the maturity, the transition into adulthood or young adulthood. Um, great, great story. One of the best kids I worked with, he just finished at Princeton, won us a state championship in 2014, 2015. And, you know, the kid he was a freshman, you know, wasn't super talented, but he played a lot of varsity games for us as a freshman.
Yeah.
Skinny and slow, and he's a bookworm. You know, kid was number 2 in his class, I think, academically. And he asked me one day at practice, like, coach, he's like, I got this. There's this girl in my math class. You know, she's cute. You know, we talk all through math class, and you know, I see her outside of school, and like she just gives me these awkward looks. And I was like, well, are you giving her an awkward look back? He's like, no. I was like, why don't you just say hi and see what happens? And you know, I've told the story so much now just because I didn't realize what I was doing when I was telling him this, but you know, a week later, he comes to our basketball class, and he's like, coach, it worked. And I was like, what worked? He's like, and Jake Bell, he knows Vito's an animal. That's who I'm talking about. But you know, Vito he's like, yeah, he's like, you know, I'm taking I'm going to study with this girl after school at Panera. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, you know, I acted like I knew what I was doing,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
But the story, it really stuck with me, and you know, I was like, man, that's exactly what I love doing. Like,
Yeah.
the basketball stuff's great, but you know, seeing this kid who wouldn't, I mean, you couldn't get a peep out of him. You could punch him in the face, he would just, you know, like wouldn't make a noise or nothing. He was so tough.
Yeah.
And now I can't get him to shut up. I mean, he doesn't stop talking. He says hi to everyone. He's a damn social butterfly. Everyone at Princeton loves him.
That's good.
Everyone at La Mirada, just like Jake just said, you know, like Vito's an animal. I mean, these were the kind of kids, you know, that really leave an impact on me, and you know, and Sammy right there. Sammy was one of the guys that was giving him crap on our team because Sammy was a senior. But you know, it's really special, man. I mean, you know, dealing with guys that or you know, kids at 14, 15, or even for me, like I started working with, you know, 11, 12 year olds, and seeing them evolve into, you know, just good humans, you know, just good people, people that
Absolutely.
value relationships,
Absolutely.
you know, and everything happens. You get lost in the sauce. I know I have, but um, you know, I think at the end of the day, you kind of figure it out. You need some, like I said, you need some of these trials and adversity to get through to where you want to go, and that's basically. I mean, that story. I think it just goes so much deep. Or it hits a wide variety of guys that I work with, because you know, even now, like, you know, a guy I'm living with right now, 24, 25. I coached him when he was 14. He was the number one player on the West Coast and extremely talented, Kevin Durant type guy. And I told him, the other day, I said, man, like, why don't you reach out to your school if you need some shoes? You play at San Diego State. Like, just hit him up, ask him for some shoes. Like, yeah, I should. I'm like, duh, you went there. You're like, you're a guy from there,
Yeah.
But I just don't. I think you don't realize the resources that you get when you go to a university or a high school. All these connections you can make, people you can impact, people you don't even know that you impact. It's really special. I love what I do. I not only for my community, but I wish I could give back more. If I had more to give, I really would.
And I know you would, bro. I know
Yeah.
you would, bro. Yeah.
But it's, it's been such a blessing, and I just want it for everyone else. It's like someone that believes in Christ. Like everyone wants someone else to believe in Christ or Allah or everyone's trying to hang together, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's dope, man. And like I said, bro, I don't really, talk to you or see you as much as I should, man. But,
come on, bro. You hit me up all the time.
Yeah, yeah, bro. I'm being modest, bro. But, yo, bro, Chuck, you're definitely, 100, bro. And from the day that I met you till now, you're the same person in terms of how you carry yourself and what you stand for. And, I'm just blessed to have, somebody like you in my corner and, somebody that I could look to and, just, learn off of and be inspired by your journey, bro. And, I'm very grateful and humbled for you to kind of take the time out and share your story on our platform. And, I can't wait till this quarantine's over so we could be in LA and, get some, some nice tacos, bro.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I gotta get to Toronto so I can get to Soto or get a hero.
Absolutely. I went there in February, bro. That was the last game I seen against the Bucks. We played the Bucks.
Oh, you guys went after?
Yeah, bro. It was dope. Yeah, it was dope, man.
That's the spot.
Yeah, so definitely, bro. We're gonna get back together when all this time is, over.
For sure.
I appreciate you, bro. You already know that. Anytime, I'm one phone call away, bro. So we'll definitely link.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, bro. Peace.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Peace.
Yep.